Welcome to Short Scale Modelling. This is part 2 of Tamia's Tiger 1 late version. Scale is 1 to 35. So in this part I'm going to be starting the build, but straight off the bat there's one small problem I'm going to have to sort out. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So I'm just about to start the build, and if I can't load something straight away with the build, this is step 1, turn this around so that you can see. And everything looks okay, but I thought, no, actually that doesn't look right. So I went back to the box, and of course, as you can see, the Tiger, and it's got the ridged armour there. The parts don't have this ridged armour, it's all smooth. Even the turret, let's get the turret out. So this sidewall of the turret, as you can see, I've already washed and primed them. There. So that is going to be having to get taken care of. Now, I had to look at the instructions to see what they say about it, and lo and behold, on the reverse side, it actually tells you to put in the markings yourself. Now, they're suggesting using a plastic filler, something like Vlagio or Tamia's filler. I'm going to try and use my sprue glue. And the reason why I've decided to do this, the sprue glue, is because this will react just like the plastic. So instead of building it all together, then trying to put in the markings, a lot of things on it, well, the main structure built will be a bit of a pain. But putting this on before I construct will make it easier, and all the little sundry parts that go on will bond to this. Then it would bond to a filler. Obviously a filler, then I'd have to use a different type of glue. So I won't do that. I'll use the sprue glue. So I'm just going to have to do a little bit of prep work first of all, and I'm just marking out the area where I won't be putting any of the sprue glue. So I'm just simply drawing some lines onto the part where I need to keep free. So on the instructions, just to point out the area that I'm marking out is on the back part there, just where those two blank parts. There's going to be the exhaust covers going on that area, so I don't want to cover them up with the ridge markings. The darker shaded areas on the instructions, that's the areas that's going to be receiving the sprue glue. It is a simple process, however. All I'm doing is taking a bit of sprue glue on a cocktail stick and spreading it over the area that I wish to be marked up or ridged as such. So the area is going to get a nice, not too thick layer of glue. And once I've done that, I'm just simply going to take the cocktail stick then and drag it along horizontally or over the part to create the ridges. When I'm doing this, I'm not particularly worried about a specific pattern or depth, as long as I achieve the ridges. And just by dragging the cocktail stick through the sprue glue will allow this. Now, I do have a bit of time. I don't have to do this instantly. It takes a little bit of time to dry. So it's quite easy enough to achieve in the time given. If you're doing this, it's better to give it a good couple of hours until it dries. Doesn't necessarily have to take that long, but it's wise to do it. I found when I was doing this, and I've never done this before, so I'm not even sure whether this will work at this point. But I found when I was doing it, sometimes it was better if I wet the tip of my finger and flattened it out a little bit if I think I've gone too far or the pattern just doesn't look right. And that way I'll flatten it down, then I can re-ridge it and start again. And I had to do that a couple of times. As I said, this is the first time I've ever tried something like this, and I'm not sure if it's going to work. It is a bit of a messy process, but as I'm doing this, going through it, I'm fairly confident that this will work. It may not be exactly what it shows you on the box, but it is going to have that ridged effect. And as you can see there, I'm doing the same process on the bottom part of the hull. I'm using my paint stir here because it's a larger area, just to place the sprue glue on. As I said, it's better to wait for a couple of hours before you start the next process, but I think it will dry in about 30 minutes. But it'd be wise just to make sure it's completely hardened before I move on. And the side of the armour is the last to do. As you can see there, I'm almost completed the process. With this one, I just put on a little bit of time, then added my scratch marks instead of applying it all the way through the run and then doing it. And once it was applied and semi-dry, it's not 100% dry at the moment, I'm just checking to see if there's any pre-formed holes that I'm going to have to reopen up. And of course there is some along the lower half of the hull that I'm going to have to open up. So I'm just simply putting in my cocktail stick and reopening the holes that may have been blocked off. I was surprised that the kit didn't have these markings, but in the end I thought actually I'm quite glad they didn't, because I enjoyed this process because it was something new. As I said, I'd never done it before. So that's all done now, and while that's drying, it's time to move on with the build proper. So I'm going on to the wheels first of all, and I'm using Tamiya's XF60 Dark Yellow for the central part of the wheels. And that will be the main base colour for the build as well. The sprue glue is now dried and I've re-primed it. So now I'm going to apply the base colour. And as you can see there, I'm putting it on quite haphazardly in a circular motion to get the best coverage. Like the wheels, I'm not really worried about the neatness of this. It's only the base colour, and as long as I get a full coverage, I'll be happy. The next layer will be the defining layer, but I think now I can tell that the ridge work is going to work out after all, now that the paint's going down. I quite like the effect. It's back to the wheels, and it's time to lay down the next colour, which is Life Colour Black and Rubber 1 Black UA734. And this is for the leading edge of the, I'm not sure whether it's meant to be a rubber tyre or not on tank wheels. I would imagine it's metal, but it's a worn blacky colour anyway. I've said it before though, these life colour paints are excellent on their black range for tyres and for washers for deckings, wooden deckings and things like that. So if you haven't got a set of that stuff, I would recommend them personally, but there's other brands out there as well, of course. That's all the wheels painted now, so it's back to the hull, and I'm going to be assembling the first piece, which is the back piece to this. It just fits straight on. There's no fitting issues whatsoever. It's quite a nice tight fit. Next is to place in the suspension springs and axles. There's one or two obviously to put in. The main thing you have to worry about here is when you put in the suspension springs is one side will go in one direction, and then on the opposite side you do the opposite direction. So I've done one side, and now I'm putting in the other side into the opposite direction. And then there's a guard thing that goes on where the drive wheels will go. Some kits will have this as a photo etch part, but I'm glad that this one is plastic. I don't like photo etch. And now I can start putting the wheels on. The wheels themselves are fairly simple to place on. There is a set pattern to them though, so make sure you look at the instructions. The back ones go on first, and then coming into the middle, then capping it off to the front wheels. Sounds complicated, but it is rather simple. Just miss out each spring as you go along, so then you've got room to put the other ones in. Now the wheels can be free moving if you want, but it's entirely up to you. The drive wheel has to be made up, but that's a fairly simple two parts together scenario. There is a little location pin there to marry them up, but it's not really necessary. Same with the middle sections of the wheels as well. It comes in two parts and it just gets pushed together to form the wheel. And as I'm putting these wheels on, this is where I'll leave part 2. So didn't get as much done in this part as I wanted to, but the ridge work had to be dealt with first. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds. If you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build, but all my other builds as well, of course. Hit that like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.